This brief presentation I've entitled it as Why Study Texila. Okay, so apologies there. So an introduction. So this invest basically, as in our view, is a center of excellence, and which employs a blended learning approach, which we're calling a DBLP, or distance blended learning platform, to deliver the programs to our students as Texila. I hope you can see, and it's appearing that side, my presentation. Are you able to see what I'm sharing? Hello,
yes,
are you able
to see? Yes,
okay,
able to see.
Thank you so much. Okay, the distance blended learning program is what we feel can promise a learner a unique experience, principally because this is Texila and not any other university. And therefore, it's a unique experience because we offer something that is differentiated from all the other universities, and because of the kind of approach that we have decided to employ as a basis for interacting with our students and the community at large. So this unique experience, we hope, is something that will eventually attract the learner, the student, to come to us instead of going somewhere else, because we believe we have something that is unique and something that can kickstart your career into what you want to be in business, as well as if you want to venture into entrepreneurship. So this experience links academic programs to the global business community, where our school helps students translate and transfer classroom concepts and theories into real-world insights. So basically what it does mean is that apart from the experience in the classroom, we encourage our students to have a feel of what it takes to operate and run businesses by inviting guest speakers from industry, so that our students can have an idea as to what it takes to operate there in the business world, and therefore applying the concepts they will be learning in the classroom. So the guest speakers can be from industry or can be from practice, in the professional practices, for example, like accountancy or marketing or HR. They come to speak to the students and ask about their unique experiences and how these can impact on the development of a student who decides to go in that direction as a career path. So yes, because of this opportunity to interact with all these learned minds and practitioners, we therefore provide the students a unique experience in that sense, because they don't have to wait. They do not have to wait for their time to be in industry to begin to have an idea as to what it involves to operate and run businesses, either as employees or as entrepreneurs. Okay, as you know, the world is getting more dynamic, and therefore also the idea that there are fewer jobs out there for our graduates, and therefore it means that the graduates we are churning out into the world, the graduates that we're producing yearly, have to find a way of utilizing their skills and their experiences with us. And one of the key pillars of that is entrepreneurship. Hopefully, at the end of their experience with us, they'll not only be able to take up jobs and employment in the industry and the civil service, but in fact can be wealth creators by starting their own businesses. So this is something that we attach a lot of value, and a core curricula and our structure and the designs of our programs has that in mind, that we do not just churn out into industry graduates that are looking for jobs alone, but those in fact that are willing to take a risk and jump into the world of entrepreneurship, where they can now be the one dictating the pace rather than waiting for a paycheck at the end of the month. Okay, we also obviously provide an opportunity to travel the world, because Texila is spread among many countries, and because of that, therefore, there's the opportunity that they can link with the other fellow students and other practitioners, other than, for example, in Zambia alone, but elsewhere where Texila has a presence. So our Center of Excellence Training has a lot to offer, among others, and the school hosts and sponsors events, projects, and programs that are there to inform and inspire our learners and our broader community. So the hallmark there is the idea that there must be leadership, there must be issues of inspiration, so that the learners are motivated throughout the program and at the beginning of the programs that they choose to come and study with us, that they have a buy-in and feel happy and satisfied that they would have made the right choice by coming to us. Okay, navigating the Texila experience in terms of locale, geography, and things like that. Because students do not only look for the opportunity to learn these complicated theories and so on. They also want to experience the beautiful landscapes of a particular area where they are studying. And Zambia is not an exception. There's very beautiful landscapes that they can come and enjoy if they're here, or if they find time, they can come into Zambia and enjoy the beautiful landscapes where we're operating at the heart of city, capital city, Zambia, and where we promise to offer a professional service that is personalized and that is able to link you to all research activity that you may want to as a learner. Private though we may be, but not doing less than what the others are doing. But if not, we're trying to be the best that is there out there in the marketplace, in the knowledge business. So yes, as a student, we offer that opportunity to travel, to experience the beautiful sports that are there, and also to have the experience of researching and interacting with other scholars in this particular part of the world called Zambia. So you're welcome if at all you're a student hearing us or listening to us from wherever you happen to be in the world. Yeah, so yes, we are here. We're at Texila, we're in Zambia, and elsewhere, but in Zambia in particular, we have beautiful, beautiful things for you that are waiting for you to experience, apart from your academic journey that you are trying to embark on to come and get that particular career, to get it started so that you can be someone of value, someone who has a positive influence to others in society by contributing meaningfully and positively to industry and society at large. So it is the ideal location to live and learn skills that you need to, as a leader and so on in today's dynamic world. As I've already said, that jobs are few and far between these days because populations are increasing. If you look at the demographic spread and the comparison between the growth in populations and the growth in industries or businesses, you clearly and quickly notice that jobs for our graduates are becoming fewer and fewer. And the only way that our graduates can be useful and can contribute is now to jump the bandwagon of entrepreneurship, where you will now be the one providing employment rather than waiting for a job to be given to you. The world is dynamic. Unfortunately, whether we like it or not, we have to change, we have to adapt, because it is what it is. Populations are increasing, and every child that is born today will require a job at some future point. So why not make it easy for yourself and jump into the bandwagon of entrepreneurship? So I think that is the kind of promise we offer, and hopefully this will be something that should excite any learner out there willing to come and join and be a part of the Texila experience. Core business philosophy, thinking. There are a lot of things that obviously stand for, but one of them might be the idea that we want to be recognized as a leader committed to excellence in higher education, research and innovation, and hopefully that it meets the aspirations of the global community, because all knowledge that we develop is useless unless it can impact society in a meaningful and positive way. So Texila is committed to this particular trajectory of developing academic experiences and research and providing higher education that is augmented by cutting-edge research and innovation for the purpose and the sole purpose of meeting the aspirations of our communities globally, and of course here in Zambia and elsewhere. Right, so that is one of the core value that we espouse, that we try to follow, that we try to use as a benchmark or as a basis for articulating our core purpose for being in business, in the knowledge business, to provide leadership, to have excellence in the programs that we offer, and to ensure and engender the culture of research and innovation in the programs that we do offer. Okay, along with that is the idea that we must revolutionize the practice and the offering of academic programs, and in particular with the realization and the experiences of the recent past, where the world as a whole was forced to go into virtual platforms like the one we're having now to deliver programs because of the COVID and other maladies that have impacted the world. And in particular, the COVID one, because it has made people realize the power of interacting and communicating with people virtually without having been together or somewhere in a room physically and so on. It means, therefore, as a world, it means that we have to dynamically recognize and also change our attitudes towards the delivery and the uptake of knowledge. The way forward must be that, in fact, IT offerings, platforms like these ones we're having today, are the way forward. And we as practitioners must look for opportunities to make these platforms deliver, so that we can endear our students to the idea that going forward, this is the way to go. The delivery of programs, that the interaction with our students in the community is going to be virtual, and that in fact the world is changing and there's nothing we can do about it. So we have to adapt. And this is one of the unique experiences you will find at Texila, and that in fact it's like we had anticipated this dynamic, because we have a very healthy cutting-edge investment in IT offerings and platforms that enable our students to engage at the highest level with learners and practitioners out there with a sense of integrity, compassion, and also taking into account all the ethical considerations that you can bring to bear in the delivery and offering of an academic program like the ones we're doing. So for my part, we are talking about a program in business studies, we're talking about the need and desire to take up a career in a bachelor's degree in business administration. So in order to support and strengthen this aspiration, therefore, we want to strive to be one of the most sustainable universities in the world through the creation, dissemination, and application of actionable knowledge. So actionable knowledge is knowledge that is readily useful to industry. Once the student comes out of our systems and they graduate running with their feet on the ground. They don't have to wait for the idea that they must be attached. Internships must continue ongoing during the program. So by the time a student is coming out of our systems, the student should be able to be off and running, because they understand business. They have understood, they have been exposed, and therefore are ready to go. If it is creating their own businesses, so be it. If he's working for another business or civil service, so be it. They are to be ready. And that is the thinking behind our core philosophy. So why Texila then, in particular the Bachelor of Business Administration and related business programs? First and foremost, I talk about what is in the public domain, that obviously we use internationally rated technologies. These are as good as any you can go and find in the market, if not the best, given a number of operators that have decided to go virtual. So we have some of the best linkages and platforms for this particular purpose. So you can be sure that you will be able to interact with your lecturers, your academic faculty staff, your mentors, and so on, because the system is there and the technologies are there and they are cutting edge and they're up to date, and they should be able to help you make progress in your chosen career, in this case, business administration. I'll come to business administration at the end of this brief presentation, obviously. Okay, you have, as was alluded to in the earlier slides, that the people that the learner is going to interact with are drawn from industry, and also, of course, a cadre of lecturers that we do have within the faculty to guide the students and to be there personally for the students, so that the experience that the student has, Texila, is a rewarding one, it's a memorable one, and they will talk about it once and long after they have left Texila. They'll talk about this with their colleagues, family, and so on, so that even those that are able to share this kind of knowledge with, they should be able to come back and also do the same and be with us, so that we also help them to kickstart their career in business administration, or indeed any other qualifications of their interest. Okay. There are opportunities for internship. I think others will talk a bit more about this. So what I'm trying to highlight are the unique attributes that are particular to Texila and that are takeaways, so that as a potential student, you're able now to begin to picture yourself in this particular journey. You can begin to see why this particular decision will be helpful to you, and in fact, how you can benefit from the journey with us of scholarship. Okay. One of the things that is always asked by students is the ability, should they need to do so, to transfer their credits that they will have earned with us. And we have different arrangements that allows our learners, if they so wish to transfer their credits to other universities where they may want to continue their studies, including those in UK and elsewhere, and even the local environment. So that opportunity is there. So therefore, that makes it easier for students to know that they're dealing with an international product, a product that can be sold elsewhere, a product that is suitable for anyone elsewhere, and therefore they should not worry about whether or not this is an internationally accepted career path. So leadership and entrepreneurship, you heard earlier, I was talking about this particular issue, the idea that we don't want to continue in the historical past where students would want to graduate hoping for a very big job in industry as a manager and so on. While it's good to aspire to be someone like that, a manager and so on, but I think it's a little narrow, and it's not very challenging just to aspire to be a manager. The challenge, and the real challenge, is the idea that the knowledge that we have acquired with us can enable the student, can enable the learner to actually start up something that is going to help a country, a society, create wealth for the communities and for the world as a whole. So therefore, leadership, the investment in leadership programs and activities, entrepreneurship programs and activities at Texila, including what we are embarking on at the Texila campus, this one in Zambia, the incubation center, where we are using ideas we brainstorm about in order to come up with businesses. So the incubation center idea is an idea to now operationalize the need for entrepreneurial skills development in our learners. And together with that incubation center, we are also investing in programs that promote the growth and development of leadership skills of our learners. So this is a key area for us, especially for business degrees programs, because this is the one that allows our learners to recognize that they are not just going out there in industry to manage businesses, but to provide leadership. As you know, the qualities of leadership, among others, are those that require that the one leading must be the one who can inspire those that are following, can provide the vision and has the passion and energy that is overwhelming as to make the others want to follow the person that is leading. And if at all a leader has a very good entrepreneurial idea, then obviously it becomes easier if at all the person espousing this idea has the passion. Okay, and this is the focus, the key focus for Texila, the development of leadership skills, the development of entrepreneurial spirit, and the incubation of these ideas together. And obviously, to operationalize all of this, we shall be having an incubation center to articulate and put in place this particular idea. So soft skilling. So skilling is in other areas that are not particularly to do with business studies, but to do with the development of interpersonal skills that a person must have, the development of a strong psychological base, the development of a strong social consciousness, so that students are aware, for example, that they are part of this global village called society, and that in fact their psychological balances are tuned to this particular potential, and that in fact, if at all they are going to start businesses, they need to understand that the products coming out of those businesses are meant for these communities. So if you're not engaging with the communities, if your social context is not well attuned to the communities, then you'll be producing goods and services that are not in tune with what the communities want. It means a learner must be in touch with societies. They must understand what the society is, what the society wants. The complicated structures of the social networks and norms and so on. These are very important because I remember, for example, way back, I think it was somewhere around 1997, somewhere there, Burger King, an American fast food chain, was trying to set shop in Turkey. As you know, Turkey is the boundary between the Muslim world and the Western world. It means, therefore, that it's a melting spot for Islam and the Western virtues and cultures and so on. And Burger King was setting up shop in a country like that, where, for example, the meats that must go in the burgers are meats that must be halal and therefore acceptable to the consumers there. Now, they had to publicly announced that, in fact, all their meats in the burgers were going to be halal. If they had not done that, probably their restaurants were not going to succeed. So it's this cultural hue and the acceptance that people have societies and cultures that are important and they influence their buyer behavior. So it's important, even as students, to train and develop students with that kind of mindset. They are going to operate in communities. They are going to operate out there in societies where they're human beings. Yeah, they're not going to be dealing with machines. They're going to be dealing with people. So the question is, are they going to fit in with the people? Are they going to understand these people in terms of what they want and so on? So I think this is the kind of positioning that Texila intends to use as a trajectory for the students that are coming through Texila and to be a part of the Texila experience. Now, part of the learning process involves context. And in this, I refer to things like case studies that you draw from industry or elsewhere, and then students are allowed to exercise their skills at interpreting, as analyzing and synthesizing and evaluating a context so that they're able to recommend decisions about a particular case. And this is important because this is one way of introducing students to the real world, although it's a classroom environment, but still the problems they are dissecting in such experiences are drawn from industry. And even before they go and meet these gurus and practitioners in industry, they have an opportunity to begin to flex their muscles, to bite at some of these problems so that it can engender their learning experience. Now, along with the case studies, we have what we call capstone. Now, capstone is a reflection, a kind of reflective diary that looks at, for example, if after the students are taking two modules that are interrelated, then the question at the end of the trimester might be, what exactly the interplay? How are these two courses related? And how does this understanding benefit the student in society? Should they go out there in industry and society to apply what they have learned? What exactly is the interplay? For example, they might be learning business economics and they're learning also accounting. So are these two related? And if so, what is the connection? And then to someone who has never done business studies, for example, to someone like a medical practitioner and so on, what would be the value of something like that to them? Because you'll be working with these as well, because the hospitals are businesses, they're organizations, they need to be managed prudently. So you need, therefore, this interaction between professionals of a different background and professionals whose particular trajectory is managing businesses. So therefore, this kind of reflection is important so that learners develops the mind that is healthy, that is able to look at things from a very pragmatic and very versatile basis. So entrepreneurial internship opportunities. So therefore, again, we have linkages that allow students to begin to get exposure well before they graduate, so that by the time they're graduating, they have that exposure. Okay. And industry networking opportunities through the linkages, public speaking, and so on, where we invite our colleagues in industry to come and share with our learners their experiences in industry and so on. Okay. Now, linkages for sponsorship and scholarship, these things I think I'll leave to Global Office to articulate this, but this is one of the opportunities you can have by being with Texila. So there's a chance to be linked to providers of sponsorship and scholarship programs, so that students, maybe those from challenged backgrounds, can have an opportunity to learn like the others who may be a bit more well off than them. Research grants, obviously there's no program, academic program, a degree program that completes without the idea that the students can do a practical research and therefore begin to synthesize the ideas which they have learned in the classroom and choose a particular area in which they have a passion and go out there and research it and add value to the body of knowledge that is already there. So yes, our experience will offer that. And of course, I already talked about the idea of incubation. So this is a key development that will allow our business school to play a very robust role in engendering a healthy mindset of students and learners that go through our Texila experience. And then finally, Entrepreneurship Club membership. I think I'll leave this to Global Office to articulate more, but I take it that there's an opportunity for this at global level and at regional level for practitioners, academicians, and the alumni to be in touch and interact with each other on ideas of entrepreneurship. Okay, the brief presentation, but now to sum it all, a business studies program is meant for people who want to develop their experiences in business studies. This particular skill is used and can be applied in any type of business, be it healthcare, finance, financial services like banks and so on, the construction industry, the manufacturing industry, the retail industry. All of these and others I haven't mentioned, they require the skills of a business administrator because they understand resource utilization. It means, therefore, that if you're getting this particular degree from Texila, you can expect to be one of the top players because we give you exactly that, the skill and knowledge you need to play a part in this particular journey and in society, to inform and assist society to invest and use resources optimally, right? If you're going to be a chartered accountant, if you're going to be a chartered HR practitioner, if you're going to be a marketing person and so on, the degree that we offer will still be relevant to all these areas of human endeavor, as long as it has to do with managing businesses optimally for the purpose of the encouragement of optimal use of resources in these organizations. And even at personal level, when we do our own budgets at home, these are based on the idea that we understand what money is, we understand what planning is, we understand how then you can begin to compare what you plan to do and what you actually achieve, and the interventions you can put in place to ensure that you are able to evaluate your performance at personal level, at institutional level, at national level, and so on. This is why, therefore, I have to encourage and anyone out there, a potential learner, to come to Texila, because you get what you need in order to be a very useful practitioner, business practitioner out there in the world. I think briefly, this is what I wanted to present. I hope you've picked one or two, and obviously wish to learn from the others, and if there are any comments and so on. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Texila. That was a great presentation, and I hope like all the attendees have gained a knowledge about the importance of a professional and a personal growth and obtaining a degree in Texila from Texila. So now I call upon Mr. John to talk about the MPH. Over to you, Mr. John.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to present on the why is it important to study a Bachelor of Public Health with Texila. First of all, I'd like first to appreciate the previous speaker, Mr. Hikachila, who explained most of the benefits that one can gain by studying at Texila University. And his presentation has also made my work even more easier. And to start with my presentation, I'll start with what is important for professional and personal growth when one obtains a Bachelor of Public Health with Texila. First of all, what we should know is that we are living in a global village, and because of this era we are living in, I'm sure we can see how the world is faring when it comes to public health, or rather a preventive medicine. Public health is one area which is involved in the prevention of diseases. And as we are talking right now, we are living in the era where we have a global pandemic in the name of COVID-19. And in order for us to see the gains or the containment towards this problem, is because of we have people who are working tirelessly in order to make sure that this spread of diseases is prevented. And that is a core job for a public health practitioner. And because of that, because of having little or a few people who are specialized in this area, we have seen a lot of outbreaks in the past that have even claimed more lives. But with the coming of cadres being trained with Texila, we can see that we are bridging the gap. And talking on the epidemiological trend of COVID-19 in Zambia, it's we are slowly getting there, because of we have enough manpower who are in the forefront preventing these outbreaks. And it is a work of a public health practitioner to ensure that the rules that governs the prevention of these diseases are supposed to be provided, the guidelines. For instance, we have the 5 golden rules on the importance of prevention of COVID-19, which includes hand washing, masking up, maintaining social distancing. We can mention just to mention a few. These tools, they have been developed by public health practitioners, and once followed properly, we'll see a positive change in the spread of these contagious diseases. And without public health practitioners, we cannot be certain of the global health security, because we are living in a global village where one person today is in Zambia, tomorrow is in Asia, the following day he might be in North America, meaning that without having these preventive medicine practitioners, we'll find that the global village will be having a lot of problems to contend with. So it is important for one to be trained as a preventive medicine, which is a bachelor's of public health. Why is it important to start with the Texila University? We have a lot of mushrooming universities, but Texila itself, it stands out to be one of the best universities providing these programs. Why do I say so? First is that Texila University is a global university which has got students across the globe, and their qualification, it's recognized in almost all the countries, meaning that you can practice your public health in any country because it is a well-established university and well recognized as well as registered with the regulatory bodies. Talking on the infrastructure, the Texila University, they are using the unique infrastructure, or rather the modern systems that is used to transmit the contents to the learners. And these databases, they are user-friendly so that even a person who has no one to guide him can be able to follow through and be able to become one of the best public health practitioners. The university itself, it has positioned itself on a global map that students can be able to marry the practicum to the theory. And the programs are also tailored in a way that you can be able to apply what you are learning. And there is also an opportunity that one can be attending classes at the same time also being attached to an institution so that they can be able to marry the theory to the practical. And that is one of the best way to reach out to many people and be able to bridge the gap, as there has been a shortage in this human resource. When one study a bachelor's of public health, what career opportunities are there? being a graduate for public health, it opens the doors for an individual to practice in so many different areas. To start with, a public health graduate can be able to work as a manager for an NGO. Second, a graduate can as well work as a surveillance officer who manages the outbreaks. At the same time, a graduate for public health can work as a health promotion officer, or can as well work as a director of environmental health, as well as a graduate can be able to work as a biostatistician, can work as well as a epidemiologist and a hospital administrator, and even a director of public health for those actually who have done the masters in public health. So there is a career progression. That is number one. When you start with Texila University, you can, once you do your bachelor's, you can as well progress to your masters of public health or even the PhD. So Texila is one of the best universities, and I can recommend for those who may want to join this important profession. And I can assure you that there is a career progression, as well as there is also a dire need for public health practitioners, which means that even when you graduate, your services will be needed by the people. So it is important that you register with the Texila Medical University in the field of Bachelor of Public Health. If you already have a bachelor's, you can register for a master's, and so on and so forth. And when you study with the Texila Medical University, you also have opportunity whereby the university, even before you graduate, you can be even recommended to do your master's. And this can even make your studies even more lighter. You know, searching for university which can offer a world-class type of qualification, it's a hard job. And once you are enrolled with the Texila American University, you are sure that you enter for your master's without spending much of your time to look for the university, as well as for people to even to do some recommendation for you. The university would have already have your information in the database, and they'll be able to assist you to progress to the next level of your learning. So for those who are looking forward to join Texila American University, I can assure you that don't hesitate, make that step, and make it so fast. As you know, education is an equalizer. And once you invest yourself in education, you'll never go wrong. You can invest in some other things, but you might not move on with them, especially when a disaster strikes. But with your education, you'll be able to move on anytime, anywhere. There'll be nothing like it's too heavy to carry. Your education will move with you. So all the prospect students, may you take this opportunity seriously and make that decision to join Texila American University. It is a winning team, and it has got a dedicated staffs, dedicated student mentors who will always be there to assist you. They'll make sure that they take you through your programs and until they see you off graduate. And the ultimate goal for the mentors is to make sure that you succeed. Is it not important to see people who are such dedicated in a manner that they want all their students to graduate and become somebody? I am a product of Texila American University, and I can assure you to say, because of attending the Bachelors of Public Health, I have a lot of opportunities that I never had before I did this program. Currently, I coordinate different programs, starting from adolescent health in my district, as well as
Thank you, Mr. John. It was indeed a great presentation and a brief about the importance for professional and personal growth when we take the bachelor's degree in public health. Thank you so much. Thank you.
COVID-19. All these I've managed to attend them because of Texila American.
Yes. John, are you there? It's like some technical issues, and John has left us. So thank you, Mr. Hekasila and Mr. John, for joining us today in this webinar and exploring our attendees with a great knowledge of the degrees, bachelor degrees, which Texila American is dealing with. Thank you so much. Thank you all attendees. Thank you once again.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, it's a pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. John.
Okay. Okay.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you very much.